The Switch is turning 5 and going strong. With plenty of folks still looking to pick it up for the first time, we figured it might be helpful to provide a list of our 10 must-play games for the Switch's first 5 years. So we called upon the staff of Nintendo World Report along with our supporters on Patreon to help us get this list together. We've got everything from major AAA releases to smaller indie titles, but they all share one thing in common: they're incredible. So without further ado, here are our top 10 games for the first 5 years of the Nintendo Switch. Number 10. Fire Emblem: Three Houses. The trajectory of Fire Emblem over the past decade peaked with the combo of the mobile success Fire Emblem Heroes and the current best-selling console entry Fire Emblem Three Houses, which came out in the summer of 2019 and was widely beloved. Players took their avatar character Byleth through a widely expansive story spanning not one, not three, but 4 different plot lines across 3 different houses, hence the title, and numerous interactions with now beloved characters. The box art trio of Edelgard, Dimitri, and Claude made an impact initially, especially because of their great voice acting, but everyone from Judith to the Gatekeeper rocketed into series lore with adoration. This comes in lower on our top 10 list largely because we've come to learn that even if you adore Three Houses, you can probably acknowledge some of its lesser elements. This game did win our Game of the Year in 2019, but was also runner-up for biggest disappointment when it comes to the structure of the story. Three Houses is an incredible video game and balances so much between the strategic turn-based battles and the social links of the monastery. The fact that the world is rich enough to support the upcoming Fire Emblem Warriors The Three Hopes shows that Three Houses has left an impact, and it's clear the future of Fire Emblem will draw a lot from this great Switch game. Number 9. Steamworld Dig 2. When Switch was on the verge of becoming the place to be for indie developers, Steamworld Dig 2 was one of the earlier must-haves that came to the Switch first in 2017. From developers Image and Form, who built up goodwill and success on the 3DS with the original Steamworld Dig and Steamworld Heist, Steamworld Dig 2 takes the ideas of the first Dig and expands on, well, basically everything. You control Dot, a side character from the original, who is on a quest to find Rusty, the hero from the first game. That involves a lot of digging and exploring. But the key embellishment here is that unlike the randomized area in its predecessor, all of Steamworld Dig 2 is an authored, designed experience, and that's felt in the clever ways the world is put together. The electric aspects are all retained, thankfully, with the stellar gameplay loop of exploring new areas in the underground, with periodic returns to the surface to cash in your treasure haul and upgrade your gear. Whether you're just carving out a new path in the labyrinth or solving one of the numerous distinct challenges, Steamworld Dig 2 is incredible in a whole new way. Even as the Switch became flooded with games, this early relic stands out amidst the sea. Number 8. Hades. Hades had already gotten a lot of praise for its early access version on the Epic Games Store, but its explosive popularity after officially releasing in 2020 made it clear that Supergiant Games had produced another instant classic. A story about never giving up as you fight against impossible odds might have been particularly resonant at the height of the pandemic, but Hades' cast of larger-than-life goofballs against the backdrop of Greek mythology guarantees a timeless appeal to its narrative. Although the roguelike genre, or roguelite, depending on which side of the semantic argument you fall on, is known for being punishing and even a bit obtuse, Hades captivated players of all skill levels by slowly easing them into the experience and revealing its story and mechanics bit by bit. By the time you finally claw your way out of the underworld for the first time, you might not even notice just how complex the game has gotten. And even once you've completed the main story and seen the credits roll, you still probably won't have seen everything the game has to throw at you. It's almost staggering just how much can be packed into one game, but Supergiant manages to weave everything they built together in an experience that never falls short of its godlike potential. Number 7. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Few games hold the honor of being the top-selling game on a particular console, and Mario Kart 8 holds the even rarer distinction of taking the number 1 spot for 2. Though it was first in a very long line of games to be rescued from the sales pit that was the Wii U, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe proved that it was still a force to be reckoned with even on Switch, and the Switch version by itself even manages to hold a spot on the top 10 best-selling games of all time. This success may come at the cost of innovation, and maybe also the chance at a more substantial single-player experience. But when you look at numbers like that, it's tough to say it was a mistake. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe shines in its local and online multiplayer options. This multiplayer component is what Mario Kart 8 has always represented best, and it's never been in better form than it is on Switch. In fact, it was one of the first games to show off the promise of single Joy-Con multiplayer back when the Switch was initially revealed. New to this version is an enhanced battle mode to replace the oft-derided implementation of the original release. Adding on to Mario Kart 8's dominance, all signs from here point to a resurgence in popularity as the recently announced Booster Pack DLC promises to double the number of tracks in the game. It's clear that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe won't be going anywhere anytime soon. The results are in, the race is over. Number 6. Celeste. When Celeste launched in early 2018, most didn't know the pedigree of the primary developer Matty Thorson. Their previous game was Towerfall, a brilliant single-screen 2D multiplayer game that originated as an Ouya exclusive. Times have changed, as Towerfall came out elsewhere, and the next major project from Thorson came out on Switch. Celeste is an expansive platformer that is both mind-numbingly difficult and also one of the most gentle platformers of its kind. Players control Madeline, a trans woman going through some heady emotional stuff that takes up residence in metaphors on the Mountain of Celeste. The story is heartfelt and bakes in the emotional resonance into platforming challenges. But even if you just focus on the gameplay, Celeste is a wondrous experience, brilliantly layering increasingly complex segments and levels with a constant flow of new ideas, all while still being relatively approachable and fun. The default difficulty definitely scales hard, especially in the bonus levels and post-game free update, but the greatest trick in Celeste is the scalable assist mode. You can remove death as an obstacle, you can give yourself infinite jumps, you can basically bend the will of the game to suit your style. There's a reason why Celeste landed so high on our list, and it's likely because so many people could play it and be challenged to their liking. Number 5. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury is likely high on our list because of the new content. Bowser's Fury, by a lot of our staff, is considered to be one of the best 3D Mario experiences ever, combining the creativity and delight of Super Mario 3D World with an engrossing open-world experience. Sure, it would be cooler if Bowser's Fury lasted more than a few hours, but there is also something wonderful in how compact and straightforward it is. Bowser's Fury is just a wonderful playground for Mario, especially when you bake in the delightful cat soup power-up. If you do play this game, the Wii U port side of it might be where you spend most of your time. Super Mario 3D World stands as one of the best Wii U games, and it holds up as a really good Switch game, jam-packed with tons of content, laced with creativity, and a bumping soundtrack. 4-player multiplayer shenanigans are enjoyable, even more so with the solid online play included with the Switch version. They even made the Captain Toad bonus stages multiplayer, which is a bit of a square peg in a round hole, but it's still cool. Number 4. Metroid Dread. Nearly 20 years after the last non-remake 2D Metroid game, Metroid Dread quickly became one of the most anticipated sequels in Nintendo's history. First rumored around 15 years ago, Metroid Dread has been a constant tease for fans of the series. When it was formally announced, it was immediately obvious that it would have big shoes to fill. Whether for sequence-breaking Super Metroid fans or story-focused Metroid Fusion fans, Metroid Dread needed to be all things for all fans, and somehow, it pulled it off. Combining a subtly told story and the most freeform map design since Super Metroid, Metroid Dread makes a strong case for being the best 2D Metroid game ever made. Player guidance was given subtly, rather than being spelled out as it has been for some of the prior games. Sequence breaking was not only allowed for, but seemingly encouraged. Boss fights were difficult, but geared toward awarding patient players. Not to mention the Emmy encounters, which played on the game's overall theme of Samus being weaker than her surroundings. All of this ultimately culminates in an ending that truly takes the series where it's never been before. While Metroid Dread certainly marks the end for one arc in the Metroid series, it also serves as an enthralling promise for where the series may go next. Number 3. Super Mario Odyssey. For many Mario fans, Super Mario Odyssey was a breath of fresh air. Mario's 3D adventures since Galaxy had taken a step away from the exploration of 64 and Sunshine, with a focus on platforming challenges and completing discrete courses. This trend culminated in 3D Land and 3D World, which, despite the 3D moniker, played more like classic 2D Mario levels with an added Z-axis. Odyssey returns 3D Mario from obstacle courses to sandboxes, where the player is set free to explore the game's many worlds. Mario's moveset has never felt better than it does in Odyssey. Mario is fluid, expressive, and acrobatic. Add Cappy's enemy-possessing capturing ability, and you have one of the most creative movement experiences in games. Certainly, collecting moons might not be as rewarding when the worlds are practically littered with them, but the moons are just the excuse to explore the charming environments. Spend just 10 minutes in New Donk City jumping rooftops, zipping through power lines, and riding Vespas, and you'll know what we mean. Number 2. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's easy to forget the Super Smash Bros. Series' humble origins. The 12-character roster of the now revered party game, or fighting game depending on exactly how you play it, has ballooned up to proportions almost unimaginable, at 89 total combatants. Continuing the tradition of third-party character inclusions originating with Solid Snake and Sonic the Hedgehog on the Wii's Super Smash Bros. Brawl, it's absolutely staggering searching through the character select screen for a fighter, not only from choice paralysis, but just the absurd inclusions they were able to get away with. No way on earth could any reasonable person have expected the likes of Steve from Minecraft or Sora from Kingdom Hearts to realistically find their way in here. But it happened, because the business negotiation stars aligned in a way not often seen. In spite of the gargantuan character lineup, the series has made iterative refinement to speed and weight that feels the most balanced it has ever felt in Ultimate. The World of Light single-player mode was a vehicle for some of the best single-player content since Brawl's Subspace Emissary, providing a ton of unique challenges and a neat board game-like world to explore. Beyond this, the variety of rule set, item drop, and other options for matches makes for an almost limitless number of ways to play with others. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is undeniably the pinnacle of the series, to the point where it leaves an open question of where it can go from here. Before we get to our number 1, here are a few honorable mentions. Animal Crossing: New Horizons, The Messenger, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Ring Fit Adventure, Pokémon Legends Arceus, Mario Party Superstars, Monster Hunter Rise. And at number 1, you might have guessed it, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. The 2014 E3 first look of The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild included a teaser, with Eiji Aonuma giving a glimpse of an open world and focus on exploration. The 2017 title released 6 years after the last entry, The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword, both on Wii U and Nintendo Switch, and it largely stuck the landing, redefining what it means to be a Zelda game. The expansive world of The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild is breathtaking. From the moment Link exits the Shrine of Resurrection, with a broad horizon that really does fulfill the promise of, you can climb that mountain in the distance. The traditional structure of the series was tossed aside in service of that redefinition, having a somewhat defined main path while also letting the player explore as they wish. The dungeon-specific tools are swapped for an array of abilities from the Sheikah Slate, which often let you approach enemies or puzzles in a variety of ways. The communities of people still regularly playing the game will show you an amazing array of how they can be chained together to achieve incredible feats. Traditional dungeons were pared down heavily, traded for smaller shrines with individual puzzles, leveraging those tools that feel like a small reward in each section of the map. The show-don't-tell nature of its environmental storytelling makes the wilderness and small villages feel like characters themselves, and the gathering of memories each a wonderful accent that add more punch when getting glimpses of Zelda, Link, and the champions' preparation for the eventual failure of their efforts to protect Hyrule from Calamity Ganon. The soundtrack continued the series' tradition of an impressive and tonally appropriate theme song, using music mostly otherwise as a contextual frill that accents times of danger, peace, or important story beats. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild is a vision, perfectly executed, and has shifted what the series can be in an entirely new and exciting direction. So that's our list, but what are some of your favorite games to play on the Switch from its first 5 years? Let us know in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, share it with a friend, and consider subscribing to Nintendo World Report TV. You can find a whole lot more at NintendoWorldReport.com, and if you want to chat with us about this, or anything else Nintendo related, head over to our Discord. There's a link in the description. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time. This video is made possible by our generous supporters on Patreon. Did you know that Nintendo World Report is funded directly by fans like you? When you support Nintendo World Report on Patreon, you get immediate access to multiple exclusive podcasts every month, exclusive Discord channels, an early look at select content, and more, all for as little as $1 a month. Check out patreon.com/NWR for all the details.